Hey, good morning. Good morning. Tom Ginn, G-Force. I got the wrong banner up here this morning. It says EYP, but that will be part of my announcements as well. But hey, today I just wanted to, you know, share with you what G-Force is. Gratitude. Gratitude, I believe, is the most important area that we can focus a change in our life. It's the mortar between the bricks of life. It negates negativity, brings us hope, changes any situation. We can take a look at the good in any situation and build on it and change ourselves at an emotional level. It's work. When we started talking about gratitude, it works out of the book. It still amazes me the world record for consecutive days writing a gratitude statement, and not just I'm grateful for coffee, but a detailed gratitude statement in and around gratitude, never replicating and never duplicating, and never missed a day for 18,256 days. That's a discipline. And I would just ask that question: if you were doing that on a regular basis, do you think maybe your gratitude about life would change? Things around you would change, your perspective would change? I would believe so. I don't have 18,256 days left in my life that I'm aware of. That's 50 years. That is 50 years. That is sort of a mind blower when it comes to, the work it takes. I would just say that person would have a much greater sense of gratitude. The people around them probably change as well. So gratitude is a very powerful principle to study, understand, and apply. It's more than just reading a book or taking, a statement, I'm so grateful for, a surface thing, but really take a good hard look at what you're really grateful for. This moment is most valuable, most precious time that you have right now, and how you look at the gratitude, your attitude about gratitude will change the next moment, and that next moment changes the next. And ultimately, gratitude will form who we become, the outcomes we get, the results we get in life. Are we reacting to them in life, or are we responding? And the goal with gratitude is help you respond, get a clearer perspective of no matter what's going on. So there's a treasure house within you, a treasure house within you. We have migrated away from this book here, Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, because all things that manifest around us, our results we get in our life, how we respond and react, has nothing to do with the knowledge. Only 20% of success in anything in life, whether it be your career, your business, your relationships, is knowledge based. And I'm not discounting school or anything like that, but the rest of the success we have in life is predicated on our belief system at a subconscious level. So today we're going to start moving in a different direction, but not in a different direction. We're going to move into a principle in a book that I was introduced to about 6 years ago, started studying this and applying it through my coaching and mentoring, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Waddell. And we're going to be starting today with in a chapter here, and I'll get to it here in a moment, The Science of Getting Rich, chapter on the right to be, and I misspelled that. I'm going to go in here and change that. To be Rick. You can be Rick if you like, but really what we're talking about is the right to be rich. And see, that's a belief system as well, a faith system. So what is your relationship to the word rich? First thoughts. We may go directly to money, but richness goes beyond money. And so the right to be rich, I'm going to cover some passages out of this book for you to contemplate. So when I started studying this book through my mentor, Bob Proctor and Arash Vasuzi, everything started changing on how I perceived life, success, richness, wealth, all those things got a different perspective. And so I highly encourage you to get this book. There is a science to it. Getting rich, not unless you hit the lottery, is not luck. There's a process. And when you understand the process, the thinking, doing things in a certain way is the key. Everything operates by law in our universe, our thinking, our spiritual laws, our physical laws, gravity. Everything that's not man-made operates by law. And it will always give the same result. That formula will always give the same result. When it's man-made, there's flaws to it. Nature is a great example of natural law. It always works the same way under any of those conditions that are out there. We'll always give a rainstorm under those circumstances, or wind, or whatever the case is. It's by law. Our thinking also. So what's your first thought when I say rich, wealth? Well, I'm going to start with the premise of building a good, solid foundation about the right to be rich. We are not put on this earth to struggle and have lack. We're here to have the abundance of the universe. And that's a belief system. We can't comprehend that. See, I'll just say this. No man can rise to his greatest possible height, potential, talent, or soul unless we develop that and it takes plenty of money. Money is something that will allow us to have that freedom, go after our desires. So we need to get it grounded in a much deeper level in these contexts. See, become rich, and your right to be rich. Man develops that in the mind, his soul, and his body. By making use of things. The societies we live in has organized it that man must have money. That's a fact. We must have money. And the basis of all man's development and achievement is understanding the science of getting rich. Thanks for being here today. Share this out. Tag and share your friends with this today. So, the right to be rich means to have free and unrestricted use of all things which may be necessary to be his fullest mental, spiritual, and physical unfoldment. In other words, his right to be rich. So it's, again, mind, spirit, and our physical coming together gives us the right to be rich. In this book, we're going to move through this in different chapters and build on it. But I want to build the foundation today of get you to have a different perspective, a different look at richness. In this book, in the beginning here, he's not talking about the figurative riches, having physical money and assets and things you get, the things around us. But to really, what does rich do does not mean to be satisfied or content with little. Are you settling for little? Do you have a small mentality? What's your relationship? We're not here to settle for little. Our God-given access to abundance is by law. What do you believe? So no man shall be satisfied with little if he wants to enjoy more things in life. And that's everything. That's a spiritual. If you have small mentality, you're going to have small spiritual growth. There's a parallel thread through all things. So if you have a lack mentality, that thread will carry through everything you do. A lack mentality, small, little. Change the spiritual relationship with your thinking. It all starts there. And then the author made this statement here. Man should have all that he can contribute to the power of elegance, beauty, richness of life. And then he says this, to be content with less is sinful. Think about that for a moment. How can we serve our fellow man and do the right things? It takes money. It takes wealth. It takes the right mindset, abundance thinking, doing more. It's more than just the physical of what we're talking about, richness. But the book really starts moving in how the thinking process works. See, there's nothing wrong with being rich. We hear it all the time. People are envious and jealous, and they look at that person as some sort of special person, or they robbed somebody, or they didn't do something right. There's a lot of convoluted thinking out there about rich. And I used to have many short thinking. I was brought up with a family of lack mentality. And that didn't serve them, didn't allow them to be the fullest they had. If they could just switch a little bit, how can I become more? See, we as human beings, we want to develop more of our mind, our soul, and our body. We're always seeking to become better in those ways. That's our nature. But what happens? We let the sin of small thinking get in the way. And there is a science you need to study. And it's not reading a book and a process, how to buy real estate, stocks, or create a business. That's part of it. If you don't have a strong belief system, that business isn't going to work the way you anticipate. What's your belief? Are you growing mind, body, and spirit to obtain it? Because if you don't have those three things working, the attainment of the richness of the physical things of the world are empty. So you have to have the right reason to apply when you're going after creating wealth and richness in your life. See, we all desire to be richer, have more fulfillment, more abundant life. Desire for praise, recognition. And the man that does not desire, here's the key, that when you understand how words have power, see, people want wealth, people want more, people want. Wants don't deliver anything. It just gives you a picture of something that's interesting. That would be cool. You're living on a beach or traveling all over the world. I want that. But see, nothing happens, become rich or obtain that abundance, the outcome. See, when the goals we have, they're abundant thinking. Your goals should be, no one has a goal to fail. No one has a goal to struggle. No one has a goal to be in debt. So the science of getting rich is about an abundance of all things. Worthiness, being worthy. And see, we want things, but the key here is, what do you desire? What do you desire is the fuel, the emotion, part of the science of getting rich, having wealth in all areas of your life. And here the author says, the man that does not desire to live more abundantly, we all desire to live more abundantly, is abnormal. It's contrary to the nature of who we are in our spiritual, in our soul, and all that. It's contrary to that nature. That's out of law. That's out of law. We're here to be rich in all areas of our life. What are you doing? I always ask that. What are you doing to get the desired results you want in your life? What are you doing? See, there are three motives for which we live. Three motives. We live for the mind. See, our mind controls, that is the controlling, that's the mechanism. We live for the mind. And that we can get pretty deep into that at another time. We live for the soul. We live what drives us, our purpose, our attachment to a higher power by law. And it's really important that none of these are holier than the other. So, three things: body, mind, and soul. These are life's expressions. Negative thoughts around these areas, the expression that we show is negative. The results become negative. This is by science. And this is when you get into this book, and I highly recommend it, does approach it from a philosophical perspective, but there's some concrete, tangible things. If you understand them, you'll start shifting your wealth mentality, your richness mentality. And guess what? That abundance that you're seeking will come. But it takes work. It takes some study. Now, if you're going to go into real estate, it's going to take some effort and work. You got to take some risks. You're going to have to study. You're going to have to pass tests. You have to have a mindset to be successful in real estate or money or business or in relationship. It takes work. What are the price are you willing to pay to have the desired results around richness and wealth in your life? And that's what this book about. When I first got into the personal development industry, and you may have heard this story. I had a lack mentality, and Bob Proctor picked that up, and he had me do some exercises. And the first thing he had me do is start studying this book in a very specific way. And I'll talk about how you study these type of books. Just don't read it, put it on the shelf. There are some things that if you exercise these principles, there will be outlined in here. Watch what will happen. You have to change your negative lack mentality through repetition at a desirable emotional state to start making the changes that you seek. You got to study. You got to apply. You need mentors. Anybody I've ever talked to is achieving things at higher levels in life have mentors and coaches. That changed my life. I use these principles in my coaching program. I didn't create them. I've applied them in my life, and then I teach them through a very systematic, fundamental way to get the results that you're seeking. So when I met with Bob Proctor, you recognized I had a lack mentality. I didn't have a strong belief. I wanted to have more success, but I was sabotaging myself. But when I got into this book and studied the way Bob suggests I study it and apply it, everything changed. Boom. Just like that for me. Some people take a little bit longer, but it resonated with me. I started believing that I was capable for unlimited richness, spiritual richness. My whole spirituality has changed and shifted through this book. my physical body. I was 265 pounds 5 years ago. Excuse me, 315 pounds, 320 pounds 6 years ago. I've got a long ways to go. Today I'm 260 pounds, 255. Far from what my desired weight is, but I have to take responsible for that. But by just shifting, my body started changing. I started doing those things that were desirable, recognizing I can't have richnesses in life if I'm sick and disabled, both mentally and physically and spiritually. And so that was a big shift in my life. And the reason I was so overweight was I had dissatisfaction, disappointment, hurts. But guess what? I don't live in the past anymore. I live in the moment. I am rich. You got to tell yourself I'm rich in all areas of my life. I'm so happy and grateful now that money flows to me from multiple sources. People are seeking me out for exactly what I have to offer. See, when I say that, it's not just words. It resonates within me at an emotional state. And then the actions I put, the science behind it, starts changing the results. So I highly encourage you to get this book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. But I want to make an announcement as well. So I'm going to end here today. We're going to dive deeper into chapter 1 and really get a little more specific. You want to get into the philosophy a little bit, the understanding it's not just the tangible things of richness that we're seeking. But no matter what we want in life, our spiritual life, our relationship life, our business, we got to have money. And the society is created. That's by law to make it work. We can't make a difference in our own lives if we're not willing to make investments. If you want to be in business, you want to grow your business, you got to make investments. If you're in a relationship and marriage, you got to make investments, retreats, seminars, workshops, counseling, whatever it is. There's a price to pay. You have to, and that takes money to do any of them. So this is the book. So I want to make a couple announcements here again. Again, there are 3 motives for which we live: body, mind, and soul. How I changed my mindset is through coaching and mentoring and in studying this book with Bob Proctor's direction and coaching with his program, Thinking into Results. It is your right. It is your right to have abundance in all things. It is your right. So you can take this to the bank, okay? But announcements. On Friday, I'll be getting back into this. I don't have a scheduled guest. Everybody's on vacations and doing all that, but I will get into this chapter 1 a little bit deeper. Speaking of richness, Mark Gassert and I, EYB, there we go, EYP, Elevate Your Profits, tomorrow evening, 7:30 Eastern, we're doing a seminar, Elevate Your Profits. It's about from the mind to the bank, how to create success in your life, predominantly from the business approach and strategy. So we're doing a webinar, about 40, maybe 45 minutes tomorrow night, 7:30. It is by registration. But here's, if you go to this link right here, Linktree Aduca Group, LLC, you'll see the 7:30 Thursday, how to create $1 million asset. We're going to talk about 8 principles that are destroying your wealth building strategy, keeping you in smallness, keeping you in lack. And if you don't understand these are also science as well. It's science as well. If you ever want to know more, to reach out to me, my calendar is right here in this link. I love to talk a little specific. I'm a financial coach. I approach finances on a personal basis or even business is behavior before numbers. What's your belief system? What's your behavior that's giving you results? You know what to do. Bottom line, everybody knows what to do to win with money, and on the basic fundamental things. It's not knowledge. It's what is your belief systems? What's your vision for yourself in relationship to accumulating wealth and assets? It's behavior. So join us tomorrow night, 7:30. And here is a bonus. First of all, get this book. I highly encourage you. Put it in your library. It'll make a big difference. I'd be glad to walk you through any of the principles there, give you some tips and things to do to accentuate the learning process in that. But anybody that registers and attends, I'm going to provide my book to you that I wrote about 6 years ago. Understanding Debt and How It Impacts Your Wealth Building Strategies. There's science behind it. How it destroys your relationship with money's debt. It's devastating emotionally, spiritually. If you read the Bible and Proverbs, it talks about being a slave to the debtor, how that ruins everything in your life. Your perspective, you become a slave to the debt. That's emotionally, spiritually contrary to abundance. So every law there's a direct opposite. Debt is the direct opposite of abundance. Debt creates lack. Debt creates lack mentality. I don't have enough, so I have to borrow. And then that snowballs. When you understand the behavior and the belief system, what it's really doing, I cover the myths about debt, how we've been culturally programmed. Now, there's people out there who say, well, debt's good. Well, no. Not understanding debt and what it does is what you need to understand. And then, of course, in the world of business and leveraging, all there are places, but it's done with a different mindset. It's not done because of lack. It's done because it's creating abundance. See, that's the biggest problem most people have. They go into debt because they want something, they don't have the money, they're in a lack mentality, so they're going after gratitude immediately. And in business, if you have to borrow money, it's not good. It should be done to create an asset. It should have a right framework. So with that all said, I just wish everybody a great and abundant and prosperous day. Gratitude works. Gratitude works. I thank you for being here. Tag and share your friends this lesson. See you on Friday. See you on Friday. I'll be coming back a little bit later today with Elevate Your Profits. I'll be diving a little bit deeper in one of the biggest problems individuals in this country is having today. We have more debt than ever before. $14.6 trillion. $14.6 trillion of debt. And debt is that far away from financial destruction. And on a personal basis, debt is a big problem. So I'll be covering a principle today. That's one of the 8 principles we cover in our workshop. So register for the workshop here again. Oh, there it is. And you'll get my book, Understanding Debt and How to Impact Your Wealth Building Strategies. So I'm going to sign out. Everybody have a great, abundant life, day, and we'll see you soon.